Hey, we're the Flick Chicks.
I'm Ann.
And I'm Monica, and this is the podcast where two college girls put themselves through agony. Pure agony.
She's not wrong.
For the sake of roasting movies by the fire, I guess.
Yes. I think this movie roasted me. Is that funny? Like, does that make sense? Because I
guess.
Like, my eyes are on fire. My brain.
I was gonna say
melting.
my brain definitely got roasted. I guess.
Oh my goodness.
Like my brain cells, I don't have anymore. They're gone.
Oh,
they left.
The two were screaming and they're gone. Yeah.
The one I had left was like, nah, that's it. Like this is the final. This is the last straw. Like I'm leaving now.
Yes. So if you didn't know, we are going to be roasting the adaptation of the Avatar: The Last Airbender show into a movie, The Last Airbender. Directed, written, and produced,
which is the first problem with this movie.
Problem in itself, by M. Night Shyamalan. I know how to pronounce his last name, but I don't want to give it to him because.
So if you've heard anything about this movie, you know that it's regarded as one of the worst movies of all time.
Facts, yeah.
And we're gonna get into it. We're gonna see whether it actually is the worst movie of all time.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Okay.
All right. So Anne's gonna do the recap.
Yeah.
But also, if you've maybe if you've listened to our podcast before or not, but our recaps aren't really usually just recaps. Like we basically just say what the whole plot is, but then insert our thoughts, commentary in the middle. So the recap is not just like us saying the whole plot and that's it.
No.
Just so you know.
This time is, especially this one, there's gonna be
lots of
a
lot to say.
Yes. So it's gonna be fun though. So brace yourself, guys. So it starts off with, so I'm going to assume that if you've watched this movie, you've probably watched the series. I'm just going to go with that. So everyone knows about Katara's famous narration where she goes, you know.
Can I even say something before the plot or anything, any of that
Sure.
even starts? The movie opens with like them trying to recreate the opening scene where there's like a red background.
Oh yes,
and then the person does like the
water,
little bending.
earth.
I cringed so hard.
It was so bad.
It makes sense if you watch the show, but the intro to the show is like super iconic, and there's like this red background, and then so there's just like earth, water, fire, air, and then they're doing like the bending against this red background, and they literally just recreated that exactly, but with people, and it just did not work. It was just it looked so stupid.
And one of the biggest things that they messed up in this entire movie, like it keeps going out, is that they were doing like 10,000 Tai Chi moves to move a pebble.
We're gonna get into that.
I was like, what? Oh my goodness. Anyways, yeah, she goes into, yeah, you're right. They did the opening, the faulty, mediocre version of the opening sequence. And then it goes into Katara's narration. But, you know, instead of using imagery like you should in a movie, right? Because that's what movies are for. You get a script-looking thing like they do in Star Wars.
Like just a black background.
Just a black background with words saying exactly what she's saying, though. So I'm like, what is the point of this? Yeah. There's I can hear her. Like, if I wanted subtitles.
I was going to say, unless it's like subtitles, but yeah.
That's so weird. Like, bruh. So they were like, nah, visualization, let's not do this. Like, you know, imagery, put that away. We're going to put words on the screen. Anyways, I'm going to call her White Katara.
Calling her Katara is just wrong.
It's just wrong.
She's not Katara.
No, she is not. So little White Katara is playing with puddles and she splashes her brother. That's like the first imagery we get in the movie. See, at first, when I saw that, I was like, okay, like, the animation doesn't look terrible, or the CGI, I should say, sorry. Looks decent. Like, when they do the ball things, it looks decent, but, you know, then it just doesn't help from there on. So, and then this is, again, the start of the problem, where Katara's all like, Sokka, I was able to. Well, it's actually Sokka in the movie.
Sokka, not
Sokka. Oh my goodness. So White.
That's a whole other issue we're going to talk about later, but yeah.
She tells her brother that she was able to waterbend because she thought about her mom. I don't like this idea that they think bending is like magic. You know,
they just ripped that off from Harry Potter. I was watching Harry Potter today, and like the exact same thing happened. And Craig's like, "Oh, the Patronus spell only works if you think about someone you love or whatever that is."
Yes, so, and I was like, "It's not magic. It's an actual skill. It's what is it? Martial art, essentially.
It's not like a mental. Well, I guess there's mental. Anyways, yeah. But it's not like I think about mom and I can watch. Stupid. No, put that away. So." She basically narrates how like the war started and how her and her brother are the only part of the only people. Yeah, exactly. And that they do most of the hunting and gathering, if you will. They don't really explain why they're in the middle of the ocean like they did last time. I mean, sorry, like they do in the show. Like in the show they were fishing, but this one they're just kind of around. They're not on a boat. They're just on the ice, just chilling.
They're just on the ice, and then White Katara sees something glowing in the water, and then what's his face? Her brother decides it's a good idea to literally pierce into the ice that they're walking on. Make that make sense, and then it starts crackling. And
they want to act surprised when it starts cracking.
What? And I'm like, bruh, boo boo, are you dumb? Like, duh. Like, what did you think would happen? Mm-hmm. So once they hit the ice, this huge like ice ball comes out from the water, and there's just glowing eyes in there. And her brother, White Sokka,
says I feel that if you call him Sokka, we'll understand it's not the real.
Yes,
Sokka.
Sokka says that this could be a Fire Nation trap, so he's like, we should just bounce. You know, Katara gets some surgeons, so she feels like she needs to go, help this thing out. So she basically breaks the ice, and out falls the little boy, Aang, or Ong. Oh my goodness, I just can't. Ong comes out of the ice with Appa, his flying bison. Yes, and he's like passed out, so he's like incoherent and he can't really say anything, so they decide to bring him back to their camp. And
important to note, literally nothing happens. It just cuts straight to back at the village.
That's literally,
she's literally like, we have to take him to the village, and then we're at the village. Nothing else happens.
Yeah, so they just bring him back. Also, this is like just a nitpick, but in the show, Aang never wore proper clothes when he was like literally in the freaking freezing cold. So I thought they would low-key fix that in the movie, but that's just whatever. No, that's just me being nitpicky. No, they're like, nah, let's just give him his little robes. Like he won't die of frostbite. And then also to note, everyone in the camp looks indigenous except for Katara, Sokka, and their grandma. So
which clearly shows that they knew that the people were supposed to be indigenous.
Exactly. Like, it's not even like, oh, we can talk about this later. But again, it's just to note that them being Caucasian actually is not even accurate for the film. Like, the film doesn't even follow their own rules. Yeah. Anyways, so we find Aang in the camp, with Katara, and he wakes up and he literally tells her everything that happened immediately. And that's the part that I didn't get. Because I was like, okay, they actually have no bond established. Like, they haven't talked. This is the first time they're talking. And he's telling her, oh, yeah, I ran away from the monks and then I got shipwrecked and now I'm whatever, right? Yeah. So he feels comfortable telling her that he ran away from home, but he won't feel comfortable to tell her he's the Avatar for another, 40 minutes, just so you know. So, this movie. Then, I forgot to mention, when Aang emerged from the ice, a huge light ray from his avatar state emitted in the sky, which the Fire Nation, specifically Prince Zuko, saw from his ship, and he was like, bruh, I need to go, because
Prince Zuko wants to find the Avatar. Yes. That's his goal.
Mm-hmm. So he literally 5 minutes after Aang reveals why he was in the ice, the Fire Nation arrives, which is like, okay, we're really moving fast here. And then basically, they're just like, oh, bring all your elderly.
Because I think that the Avatar is supposed to be old.
Because he thinks, because it's been over 100 years. Or it's been 100 years. So he should be old. Which low-key, I was like, he could also be a baby, but, whatever.
I know, that's what I never understood about the show. It's like, what happens when the Avatar's a baby? They just go through a 10, 12-year period where no peace is good because the Avatar is not of age yet. That's what I never understood.
No, so that's what happens. It does, because they've never had problems. The only reason they told at least in the series. The only reason they told Aang he was the Avatar at 12, which was weird. Usually you tell them when they're like 18. They told him when he was 12 because of the war. They were like, oh, we need you sooner than we would need you normally.
I guess, yeah.
So, yeah. So it's kind of like having a mayor or like a prince become the king faster because the king died, I guess. True. That's the idea. But anyways, in this movie, that's not important.
No,
which is crazy. So
what we know so far is there's Prince Zuko who's trying to find the Avatar.
Yes.
Who's Aang, obviously, but they don't know that yet because Aang's just chilling. But they do know he's different because he has these tattoos all on his face.
Yes.
And
they know he's an airbender, right?
Well, yeah, they don't really say it, but it's like they know that the tattoos make him an airbender, but they don't tell him that there are no airbenders left.
No, they don't.
They literally gloss over that fact, and then
it's weird.
The Fire Nation shows up.
I guess they don't. To be fair, I guess they don't know he's an airbender. They know he's part of the airbender tribe, but you could not be.
But it
an
seems like they're not questioning the fact that they just pulled this kid out of the ice. A, he's an airbender. B, he has the tattoos, and C, he's by himself, doesn't know what's happening, but they just kind of, like the plot of this movie just doesn't make sense. Like,
it doesn't. Like all the actions are
from,
so
like, thing to thing, and it just doesn't, like, there's no transitions. It's just like you have to assume, like, you have no idea what they know, what they don't know. It's just kind of like, okay,
yeah.
So anyways, yeah,
exactly. It's so stupid. And to parallel, like in the show, this is the part where Aang reveals he's the Avatar. He goes like when Zuko arrives to the island and threatens to like hurt people. He's like, hey, I'm the one you want. I'm the Avatar. Take me. Which makes sense why he would take him. Why would he take this random little boy, like, just to be like, yeah, for sure, this guy's the Avatar. Like, I know this. Like, you should probably take all the elderly, too, while you're at it. Because you don't know for sure that it's true.
So, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So, anyway, so the Fire Nation...
Like, you're taking this guy's word for it.
The Fire Nation
is
they take all of a sudden just here. And then they take Aang away. Well, no, they don't take him. Aang volunteers himself. He's like... Don't hurt
he sacrifices himself for the place. So then Katara comes in to Sokka's tent and says, we have a responsibility to this boy. And I was like, do you though? This is a random little boy. Like, you didn't establish any
They
bond.
didn't show it, at least. So, like, they didn't show anything.
Or you didn't show it. So I'm like, do you really owe this guy anything? Like, people get taken by the Fire Nation all the time. So the motivation just doesn't
make sense.
Accurate. Yeah. Versus in the show, she was like, I know he's the Avatar, so this could, like, potentially everybody could be saved by this guy. I should probably go help him. But whatever. Their grandma is the one who reveals to them that he might be the Avatar. So apparently they're dum-dums who don't know what the Avatar is, period. Yeah.
That's what I was confused. Like, the grandma just tells them this whole story, and I'm like, do you not know this? Like, were you not aware of the fact that there are A, are no airbenders left, and B, that the Avatar is probably an airbender? Like, I don't know. It's
so, and I get it that they're like, it's not completely irrational that if them living on like a secluded place wouldn't know everything, but it's like, how come grandma knows everything and then they
she only decided to tell you
now? Think grandma yes, like that doesn't make sense, because if they all were like didn't know, that would be a different story, but that's clearly not the case. So basically, now that Aang is on the ship, they do a test.
We have to talk about this later.
I hate this. Like, it's not magic. Okay.
So Zuko and his uncle Iroh have Aang, or I can't even, like, I just have Aang on the boat, and they're like, okay, well, we just need to do a little test for you, and then you're free to go. And he's like, okay. Clearly he has no idea that, he's being captured.
Which is
so they're like, okay,
dumb.
Just do this little test. They put like some fire. No, they put something, and they put a candle in front of him, and then the candle gets extinguished or something.
Yes.
And then they put water in front of him, and then it congregates into like a puddle
perfect
or whatever.
Circle. Yeah.
And then they put a rock in front of him, and then it stands up.
Yes.
And they're like, oh my god. Okay, you're staying here. And he's like, what?
Are they going to put air in front of him? How would they have done that?
They're like, but you said I could go. And he's like, yeah, no, that's only if you fail the test. You passed, so.
Which was like stupid interaction.
That's literally the whole interaction.
Oh my goodness.
So
because it's like, you didn't even establish him as like a young kid. Like, you didn't give him,
they didn't
like,
establish anything. Like,
no,
I don't even know what they did establish. What literally, did they establish? Nothing.
Aang has I mean, pretty much everyone in this movie, but Aang especially has actually no personality. Like, you cannot name a single thing about him.
Literally. Okay, so you can continue. But meanwhile, back at the water tribe.
So then Sokka and Katara decide to go save Aang. So they take Appa, who they realize can fly, and they try to go rescue him. Meanwhile, Aang literally just manages to lock Zuko and Iroh in a room and then just flies away. That's literally like the scene. Like literally,
literally nothing
no
happens.
fight. No.
Nope.
So he just flies away. They're like, we don't got the budget for this, so let him just fly away. So he flies away. He hears Appa do his animal sounds. I don't know what you would call it.
Appa literally sounds like he's in pain.
He does.
In this movie.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, so he hears his pets cry, if you will, and knows that they're around, right? So then they immediately jump to them arriving to the Southern Air Temple, which...
Well, they do a little narration, too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, little, like, she
There's
just
a
talks
lot
about...
of, like, unnecessary narration in this movie, but yeah.
Another nitpicky thing is the subtitle, like, no, sorry, not the subtitles. What is it? The text that they use for, like, when they were at different locations.
Yeah.
It was just so plain. It looks like they put Calibri. I just felt like...
It looks like some next, like, Microsoft Word.
I know.
font.
I was like, bruh, you can't do something interesting? You know what I actually thought? I don't know how accurate that would be, but I think it would have been really cool if they put them in, like, either... Chinese, or I don't know what the origin of Avatar is. It's pretty like messy, but let's say they said it was a Chinese like movie. I would have preferred if they picked an area, kind of like how
the original series was supposed to be like an Asiatic world or whatever.
So I feel like it would have been cool to put like their traditional,
Chinese characters.
Yeah, Chinese characters.
And then put the translation underneath
really cool.
it. Yeah, why not?
But
anyways, so
that would have been really
does
dope.
a little narration like, okay, he's taking us to the Southern Air Temple now. Whatever.
They take him to the Southern Air Temple, and they kind of imply that nobody who's on this island understands what happened. Like,
yeah, it's like
they don't understand that the Fire Nation, which is strange to me because they should know that
the Fire Nation killed all the Airbenders.
Yeah, so it's not just Aang who's unaware. It's like Sokka and Katara are still like, oh, maybe there could be some, like, they're not understanding. So, but then he obviously discovers the bones.
Also, there's a little flashback where he finds a necklace that was given to him by Monk Gyatso. I don't know who chose the actor for Monk Gyatso.
He made it. Yeah,
Monk Gyatso looked like a 30-year-old man. What? Who did not look like a monk whatsoever.
No,
I don't know who decided that actor should play Monk Gyatso, even if it's just for like that 1 second. But I was like, huh? Like, that's Monk Gyatso. Monk Gyatso's supposed to be this like super old, like mustache, like bald dude with the same tattoos, whatever. Nope, this dude's like a 30-year-old dude who's like, hey, thanks, man, for the necklace, walking out. Like, that's not how it's supposed to work. This dude's supposed to be old.
It's so weird. And also, they like to separate the what is it? They like to separate races by freaking bending. So it's weird that he was a brown man and then everyone else was white.
It just didn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense. Is he a Airbender immigrant? I don't know. We will never know. So eventually he's so upset he finds Monk Gyatso's corpse, if you will, and he gets so upset that he immediately goes into the Avatar state. And we see what he sees while he's in the Avatar state. He sees a dragon who's talking to him. The ugliest dragon I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm. CGI
he
dragon.
Just says, I know. He just says to him, the Avatar, where have you been? Basically, this dragon is just chastising him for, like, not being around. Okay?
And this whole time... We know that he's not been around for, like, 100 years. But he doesn't know that, I guess.
Yes. Which is, again, also... This is because we know the show.
Like, so that's what I'm saying. Watching
if you didn't know the show,
you would be confused as fuck right now.
Yes.
Like, you'd be so confused. You'd be like, what is happening? Why are they all dead? What's going on?
Like wouldn't that be, other than the test thing, that would be the first time you're really like, oh, he actually is the Avatar. Like, that would be the second time that you're able to confirm that.
Yeah, so. Like I said, if I hadn't watched the show, I'd be confused. And I have watched the show, and I'm still kind of confused as to what this movie is trying to tell me. I was still confused.
Mm-hmm. So... here is a direct comparison of what was said in the movie versus what was said on the show. So basically, while he's in the Avatar state, Katara is trying to like reason with him to get him to calm down because he's basically like blowing everybody away, if you will, pun intended. So she's in the show. She says, I know, like, that it's messed up that all these people are dead. She didn't say that in that way, but she says, but you still have a family now because we're going to be your new family. That's what she says. Mm-hmm. And Sokka ends up saying, like, Katara and I aren't going to let anything happen to you, which is so sweet because this man is dealing with genocide. So it's not easy. In the movie, she says, we can't bring Mon Chiazzo back. One person? Okay. But Sokka and I can be with you as long as you need. Don't give up.
Huh?
do you see how unheartfelt that is? Like who
one
takes
is like, bro, we're your new fam. Nah. We gotta take away some of the emotion a little bit.
Yeah, the first one is like, we're gonna be your family now, and we're gonna protect you because you're basically alone. He's the last Airbender, okay? In this one, they're just like, yo, we know your homie friend died. Just the one guy, not like let's not even acknowledge. Who cares about everyone else? Your entire tribe is done, and also we'll stay with you as long as you need. Huh?
I don't know.
Like, not forever?
Not forever, just until you're done.
Yes, until you get the 4 elements. It's like, get over it. Your family died. Okay, whatever, you know? Anyways, so then we get a flashback, not a flashback, sorry. Then we cut to a scene where we see Zuko getting basically scolded by General Zhao, who is a general of the Fire Nation. Yeah. And he's like, basically,
I was watching
they did a good job with him at least. He's really rude.
They referred to General Zhao, like the video I was watching. He's like, it's the pizza dude from Spider-Man 2. And that's just how he referred to him the whole time, and I thought that was hilarious. Mm-hmm.
I remember he was also in The Proposal. He got fired at the beginning of the movie. I just remember his face.
That's where I knew him from. Okay, I was like,
he's funny. Else. He's a funny guy. Yeah.
But that's the problem.
I like him as an actor. I like him as an actor.
He's supposed to be like a super funny dude, but he's trying to be in this super serious, like, Commander Zhao. It just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't. Yeah, I like him as in his other roles. This one, he's not even bad in this movie, but it's like the movie sucks. I just
can't take it seriously.
It's hard. Yeah. So he was, being really rude and being an asshole to King Zuko, which is accurate. I'll give one thing accurate. Yeah, Prince Zuko. He basically, and we get more of a backstory about how his father exiled him, and he has to find the Avatar if he wants to be accepted back. And he's apparently an enemy of the Fire Nation.
Again, they don't really do much explanation. Yeah. Like, there's literally no way to properly explain this plot because they just fucked the whole thing up.
They did. So now we cut back to our gang of Sokka and Katara and Aang, who are now at the Southern Earth Kingdom. Mm-hmm.
They're on their way. Did they even explain where they're going? I think they did.
No,
I think they did. They said.
They said he needs to master water.
Yeah, so he needs to master water bending. So they're on their way to the northern water.
No, actually, Monica, no.
They didn't explain it?
They don't. No, because it's only here that he reveals that he's the Avatar in front of all the Earthbenders. And then that's when they're like, oh, you're the Avatar?
See, that's the problem. They don't need to explain where they're going. They just explain that they're going somewhere. It just doesn't make sense.
Like, happen to stumble into the Southern Earth Kingdom. They literally don't. Like, because I literally wrote, he's still lying about being the Avatar. Like, that's what it says here. Yeah. So,
like, they don't even
there's no way they would know. They don't
even explain where they're going. They're just kind of end up at the Earth Kingdom. Yes. Who knows why, but they're just there.
So, you actually have no idea where or why they're traveling. Okay. Stupid. Anyways, so they're just, like, camping out in a village, essentially, in a Southern Earth Kingdom village. And this little kid runs by and is about to get arrested by these soldiers because they caught him bending. They caught a kid bending. Sorry, to be clear. Yeah, bending.
This city is like controlled by the Fire Nation, and the Earthbenders are not allowed to bend.
Yeah,
this whole scene.
I know.
I was literally laughing out loud.
It's hilarious.
It was so stupid.
It's laughable.
It's like it's funny because it's so bad that it's funny.
So basically, the soldiers confront Aang, Katara, and Sokka, who are trying to protect the kid, and then Katara obviously reveals that she's a waterbender, so they just arrest the whole gang and put them in this so-called prison. Oh my goodness. This prison that is on Earth, literal, just made of Earth. In the show, they were on a metal ship because they didn't want, and they made sure to keep the coal away from the Earthbenders because they didn't want them to have any access to any Earth at all. Because, okay? Yeah. In this show, they're just there. And they're just too scared to fight for some freaking reason. Nobody knows. And then Aang is all like, would you guys have hope if I told you the Avatar was alive? And they were like, I don't know. I don't really care.
He's asking the Earthbenders to help them escape.
Yes.
And he's like, well, what if I told you I'm the Avatar? And they're like, well, I don't know. Like,
so
are you
then
the Avatar?
he reveals that he's the Avatar. They obviously don't believe him right away, but then the guards come in.
He does some airbending.
And then he does some airbending to the guards. And also, the airbending looks stupid.
All the bending looks stupid.
I'm a little worried. I know they're going to do better. But the Netflix show, I'm really, like, praying that because we've advanced so much that it's gonna look amazing, because I'm waiting for that. I hope
so, because they just
yeah.
Anyways, so a fight ensues.
Mm-hmm. This is
probably
really
the
showcasing the worst.
Ever watched in
it's
my
hilarious.
Life.
Literally,
it's hilarious.
You see this group of men doing Tai Chi, freaking Taekwondo moves, everything all around, to move a little pebble, like a rock.
Like, I literally laughed. I'm like, there no way somebody watched that fight scene and said, oh, that's good. Yeah. Like, no way. Huh? There's like a group of like 6 dudes going, hoo, 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 and then just a pebble floats across the screen, and that's it.
They should have all moved at least one pebble. Like, at least give them each a pebble.
No, but like, it just didn't make any sense.
It didn't
make any sense. Like, in the whole movie, like, they'll do like 50,000 moves to move like a drop of water, which doesn't make any sense at all.
It almost makes bending it'll be like
they'll do the moves for like 10 seconds and then whatever they're trying to do moves. It's like, no, it's supposed to move right away. Like, what are you doing?
It makes bending look almost useless, actually. Like, I'd be like, literally, if I was not a bender, I'd be like, big whoop. It takes you 10 minutes to move water. Like, am I impressed? I could have picked up the water by that time. Oh my goodness.
No, literally.
So terrible.
So there's this big fight.
Yes,
quote unquote fight scene,
and they end up winning. Kingdom. Well, actually, they don't really do much. They don't actually hit any of the soldiers. Really the soldiers just get scared. They see them showcase their great bending skills.
Yeah, like they try to throw fire at the Earthbenders and they block it with earth, and that's.
And then they're like, "Oh no, they can block our fire. We must run away." So they run away for some. Okay, that's it. Okay. And that's when the town celebrates and they thank them for their work, and then they show them this like bunker that the Fire Nation soldiers had made to keep all the bending paraphernalia, if you will. And it includes a couple, specifically some water bending scrolls, which Katara and Aang used to now learn how to waterbend.
Yeah, and at this time he tells them,
he does
master the other elements, so I need to learn all the other ones. So exactly. Like, okay, well, we need to go to the Northern Water Tribe.
So now they're like, now they actually have a goal because before,
the Northern Water Tribe.
In the show, it was established from episode 2, like when he escaped the ship of Zuko, that he needed to go to the water place, to the Northern Water Tribe.
And even then, it made sense that they were on the run, because he was literally on the run from the Fire Nation. But at this point, it was like, what are the stakes here? I don't understand.
Because they didn't. I don't even think maybe they did. I must have missed it then. I didn't see the scene where General Zhao was like, "Bro, you let the Avatar escape. Now I'm gonna tell your dad that everybody knows." Like,
I don't know, man. Like, this whole plot just doesn't make any sense.
Anyways, there's this quick plug. They show them. They show Aang the statue of Avatar Kyoshi, which was the Avatar second at last, like before him. There was one more before Aang, and then Kyoshi was the one before that.
Avatar Roku.
Yeah, he was from the Fire Nation, and then Kyoshi was a Earthbender Avatar. Well, original.
And they took away my favorite people.
I know.
Kyoshi warriors.
I love the Kyoshi warriors.
Who knows? The whole point is like they end up on Kyoshi Island first.
Exactly.
And the Kyoshi warriors take them away, and then.
And it teaches Sokka how to fight, which is a really good thing. Anyways, so they said this. It said, "Oh, Avatar Kyoshi really loved games," and Aang says, "Oh, me too." And I'm like, "Really? We haven't seen you play at all.
We haven't seen you play any games.
We haven't seen you be fun at all. Do you have a fun bone in your body? We wouldn't know." Like, I was like, "Hey." Like, they literally could have just made a scene where they're riding on Appa and then he's like playing games with them. Like, that would have been an easy scene to insert to show that he's like a fun-loving person.
I remember in the show, like when they're the Earth Kingdom and something happens and he's like, "Okay, but watch this," and then he does this little air marble thing. Like that's Aang's character. That's who he's. It shows that
he's like a fun-loving kid who was set with like a burden of having to save the world. Like, that's literally.
Like, if they wanted to make it serious, they could have. If it was a good movie.
Yeah.
I would have been like, okay, fine, I guess. Sure. But it's just a bad
It
movie.
isn't.
So it's like you double messed up the plot. So
and it's like, okay, if you're gonna make Aang not the Aang from the show, don't try to insert little things that make us think he is. Like, don't try to be like, oh, he likes games. No, he doesn't.
I haven't seen him.
Anyways, also during this time, Aang talks about what being the Avatar was about, like why he ran away more in detail when he reveals it to Katara and Sokka. And he talks about how they say that the Avatars can't have families. Monica, I'm about to scream, okay? Aang comes from monks. Monks.
He wasn't gonna have a family anyway.
No, they don't have families. The traditional families.
They literally belittled him because, like, you were raised by monks. You don't even know what family is. Like, that's the whole point. He doesn't. Like, you wouldn't know what a father is. Airbenders don't do families.
So he's like, oh, I couldn't have a.
Like, Aang, name one Airbender that has a family quickly.
Literally. So he wouldn't even have this urge to have one unless he had the plan of leaving the monks in the first place, which they would have had to say, like, oh, I was planning to, like, not be a monk anyways. Well, that's just not true because he has the freaking tattoos on his head, which means he had gone through the ceremony to become Avatar monk thing. Oh my gosh. Like, anyways, so they try to insinuate multiple times. I know. They insinuate multiple times through the movie, like at least 2 more times, that the reason that he left was because he wanted to have a family and he wanted to live like a normal life. That's so dumb. So dumb. Yeah. Doesn't even make sense. And then also Sokka feels like a surge of purpose, and he's like, I think we should go to a bunch of cities and try to free them from the Fire Nation. That's fine, because I do get that in the movie you can't really show all the cities they went to. So it's just a montage of them.
They spent the whole season going to different cities and doing adventures and shit like that.
Exactly. So in this one, they just show a montage of them helping villages be free from Fire Nation captivity and soldiers. Another stupid thing. So apparently they're trying to stay out of sight and not be followed. But there's literally a scene where Katara puts a poster of Aang on the in one of the villages.
Yeah.
Like, she puts it up there. Like, she's like, and I bet you it says Avatar on it, buddy. I don't think... Oh my goodness. So they're like, oh, we're trying to stay hidden, but I'm going to put up a poster of him. I think it's a good idea. Oh my goodness. We cut back to the Fire Nation where General Zhao is talking to Fire Lord Ozai, who is Zuko's father and the leader of the whole Fire Nation war, basically. And he says that he's learned from reading stuff in the library that he knows where the moon and water spirit are, right? Mm-hmm. And Fire Lord Ozai is kind of putting pressure on General Zhao. And he says, yo, if Zuko were to find the Avatar before you, he wouldn't be in charge of you, you know? So General Zhao is now on edge, I guess. And Zuko and Iroh have to stay at a nearby Fire Nation village or colony, if you will, because their ship was just messed up after. Was it? It wasn't even. I actually don't know why they're there.
No, honestly, like I said, nothing is ever explained.
Actually, yeah, because in the show, their ship got ruined, so they had to go station somewhere to get it fixed. In the movie, they're just there, so we don't know. And Zuko gives the full backstory of how he became Zuko. He tells some random kid. He asked some random kid, tell me about
to see what people know.
So basically, during one of the discussions in a meeting, a war meeting, he objected to one of the strategies that the generals wanted to do, which would involve killing a lot of men at the front line to be able to win something. And his father said this was a sign of disrespect. So he said that he would have to do an Agni Kai to... They actually called it Agni Ki in the movie, even better.
Yeah, which is annoying too.
He has to do an Agni Kai to, defend his honor, which is just a duel between 2 benders. And Zuko thought he would be doing an Agni Kai against the person that he ended up interrupting. They didn't really specify who that was, but his father was the one who took the guy's place for the challenge. And Zuko didn't want to fight his dad, Avi. So then his dad is like, bruh, no. So he burns him in the face. His burnt is not even that bad in the movie, by the way. It's almost not noticeable.
You don't even see it. Literally, you don't even see it.
It looks like he's a little sweaty on one side of his face. That's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Zuko reveals his backstory. And then we jump back to Aang, who wanted to visit the Northern Air Temple for some reason. And no, sorry, they're just camping out, and he wants to go see the Northern Air Temple because he just wants to see if anybody's left. And he goes by himself, and there he meets a Earthbender villager, supposedly, and this guy ends up betraying him. And like,
for a hot minute, I thought he was an Airbender, and I was really confused. The dude
I
was like, what? Why is there an Airbender? Because he's wearing like the same kind of clothes that the monks wear.
He
so I was really confused.
I thought he was the guru, like, you know, that guy who like helps him unblock his cheese, but whatever.
Unblock his cheese.
Yeah, that's like season 2.
The chakra is like the chakra.
The chakra,
like
yeah,
yeah.
You're right, yeah.
But nope, just some random dude.
Yeah, just some random dude who ends up being like, yo, because of this, like, because of you disappearing, I've had to deal with a lot of stuff, so I'm ratting you out. And then General Zhao ends up capturing him. Also, he ends up being in the Avatar state at some point, and the dragon tells him about what the firebenders are trying to do, as in like with the spirits and stuff. So he's captured by General Zhao, who's just gonna keep him prisoner forever because he's like, if I kill you, you're just gonna reincarnate. So I'm just gonna keep you prisoner here until the war is over, and then you can be let go. And then this blue spirit, I'm trying to go a little faster now.
Yeah,
this
blue spirit just doesn't.
Yeah, this blue spirit comes through and releases Aang, and they fight, and then Aang realizes that the blue spirit is actually Zuko, who came to like get him out of there because he wants to be the one to give Aang to his father, or else he can't be let back into the Fire Nation. So Aang manages to escape with Zuko and just leaves him in the forest, so that he just saves his life and leaves and goes back to where Sokka and Katara are. And Zuko goes back to his ship where he is supposedly killed in an explosion. Katara and Aang finally, and freaking Sokka, finally get to the Northern Water Tribe. And then they talk. It's
nothing
bad.
happened over the past hour in this movie.
It doesn't.
Literally nothing happened.
No. And then for some reason, Princess Yue is in charge of the entire city. Thought that was dumb. Okay.
Yeah.
Sokka becomes really good friends with her all of a sudden, and he becomes her guard.
Volunteers to be her personal guard.
If she's literally the ruler of your entire tribe, you just have
some random
boy be her
just
guard.
Showed up 2 seconds ago.
If she dies, who's in charge? Like, you should really be. Oh my goodness. Anyways, while Aang is sparring, they get impressed that he literally moves water. Like, I was just like, what is going on? Like, yeah. I don't. Anyways, Princess Yue gives her backstory on how the moon gave her life and why it turned her hair white, because she was really like sick when she was born, and her parents prayed to the moon spirit and it gave her life. Then we discover that Zuko is actually alive. And Iroh tries to talk him out of doing this whole thing, but he's like, nah, I gotta do this. So Zuko sneaks into the Northern Water Tribe place, while the Fire Nation is on its way to attack the city. And then there's just a bunch of scenes of them doing Tai Chi and not moving any water. And finally, the Fire Nation is there. And what's it called? Aang has to go to this spiritual place where the moon and the water spirit are, because he needs to meditate to be able to connect to the Avatar state to have the dragon tell him more stuff. I think that's basically what he says. Yeah. And Zuko ends up finding him, fights Katara, and obviously wins. And then he takes Aang's unconscious body and like drags him out. And he's just his plan is to wait out the fight till he can bring Aang to the Fire Nation himself. And anyways, meanwhile, General Zhao is revealing his plan to Iroh, that he's planning to kill the water or one of the spirits, like the moon spirit, which is this, or the water spirit, I'm not sure. But whatever, either of them dying is not good for the water tribe because it prevents them from being able to bend. Okay, and Aang eventually wakes up. He doesn't really learn much from the dragon. Like, I really didn't even write it down because I remember it was like nothing serious.
Yeah,
it was just like,
no,
it was something
I don't
like,
remember anything.
It was literally like, remember love or something like that. Or like, be yourself. Whatever. So then he wakes up and starts fighting Zuko, and then eventually Katara comes to, help him and freezes Zuko. And, which Aang spares his life because he so Katara freezes Zuko, but like from his whole body, and then Aang like undoes the ice thing so that,
which is also dumb because the whole point was that Katara doesn't know how to waterbend.
I know.
And then all of a sudden she can bend ice.
Exactly.
Which I feel like she spent like 2 seasons trying to learn.
Yeah, and they totally dropped, which was one of my favorite plot points. They totally dropped the plot point where the Northern Water Tribe was very traditionalist, and they would only let women. They would only let women do healing, bending. Which was ended up being really useful later because she was the only healer in their group.
Yep.
Anyways, so
let's just wrap this up. I feel
basically, long story short, freaking General Zhao kills the one of the moon spirit, and then Princess Yue is like, I'm gonna give my life to the spirit because it gave me life, and then she dies, and then the because the spirit is back, they're able to bend again. So, sorry, the Fire Nation is attacking the city this whole time. So, the waterbenders get their powers back, so they start kicking them Fire Nation people out. Zuko and Iroh escape from the place, and General Zhao is killed by the waterbenders. And then, the moment of truth, where the Fire Nation is still coming in, and they're really cornered. So, what does Aang do when he gets into the Avatar state? They just show a bunch of flashbacks of him remember his loved ones, quote unquote, which are like the people of the air masters or whatever, and he makes a giant wave. That's it, a huge wave. No, the Avatar state lets him make a huge wave. Everyone's killed, and then he finally comes down where he sees everybody who's there, and they start bowing at him, and Katara says, they want you to be their avatar, as if it's an electoral campaign. Like you can
avatar, whether y'all like it or not. Like,
I want to be your avatar because I'm the only one who can bend all the elements. Like, what? That's why. Anyways, the movie ends up with them revealing Azula. So, because they thought the second movie was coming.
Yeah, they show like the dad being like, you have to step up to the plate or whatever. He gives her this little speech, and then she's like, yes, father, and it's like Azula, who's Zuko's sister, and hinting at the next whatever movie that never got made.
Thank goodness. I don't think I could have
honestly,
done
there's no way to explain this movie without just sounding stupid, because it's just
it's like
where to even begin.
Like, all this time we fought over movies, we've been like, we don't like this, but this is actually just a terrible movie.
It's
like
literally just bad. Like it's bad. Like you should not be laughing during a fight scene.
I know. Like movies that I say I don't. Yeah, movies that I say I don't like. It's just like, oh, it's a preference. Like I just don't like it. This one is just like, it's not a movie. Like that's how I feel. If anyone
genuinely enjoys this movie, I'm like, I would literally be like, what's wrong with you? Like, have you never seen a movie in your life?
Right?
Like that's what
because it's not even like the action scenes are epic enough for you to like, because that's usually what happens with those huge, like, Dwayne The Rock
big budget
kind
of
movie, big budget.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, it's not elaborate, it's not smart at all, but the scenes are crazy cool to watch, right? But they didn't even have that.
It's just not even good. Like it's just. Where to even begin?
Oh my goodness.
So I guess now usually is the time we talk about things we like, things we didn't like. We can just skip over the things we like because I can't even think of anything.
The only thing I said was, out of all the actors, I didn't hate Zuko. That's it.
Dev Patel did his best.
Yes.
With what he was given.
Yes. And we know he's a good actor because we've seen him elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to acknowledge him and acknowledge that better things were to come for him, so it's fine.
Yeah, he was fine. He didn't nothing. He bounced back from that, so it's okay.
Exactly. There's a reason everyone else was gone.
So I feel like there's like a couple like main problems with this movie.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can start.
So A is like just the fundamentals of it, i.e., like casting, script, you know, setting, that kind of thing. Like, first of all, everyone kind of knows. I feel like even if you haven't watched the movie or the show, you kind of know about the whole casting problem. Yeah. If you don't know, the characters of Aang, Katara, and Sokka, even saying those words, just were all made to be white, which literally makes no sense because every other character, like, if you want to, I feel like, in my opinion, if you want to whitewash characters, just do the whole cast. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just do it. Yeah. Like, just don't be shy. Like, just do the whole thing, and then
if that's how you
can
feel,
just pretend, and you can just be like, oh well, it's a prep. You know what? At least you did the whole cast. But when you put the main characters as white and everyone else as not white, it just shows that you don't want the main characters to not be white. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, I feel like it looks worse because it's like, you knew, it's like what you said with the waterbending tribe, whatever, where Katara's from. Everyone else is indigenous except for Katara and Sokka. So it's like, you know what they're supposed to be, but you don't want to make them that. Like, why?
And you know what was, I literally, because Monica, like, when I first, like, I didn't watch this. This is the first time I've actually watched the movie the whole way through. Before I had just seen, like, I could never get through it. I didn't want to.
I was like, I don't feel like watching.
I watched an interview with M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong, explaining what he did here. And guess what he said when people accused him, obviously, of whitewashing?
I feel like I've read a couple of things that he said.
He said, this movie is one of the most diverse movies I've ever seen in my life because there's so many... He said there's so many different races. It's so diverse.
Like, it's just like, I honestly wonder what he was on.
What is he on?
This whole period. Like,
okay, first of all, buddy, there's two races in the entire movie. There's whites and, there's three. Sorry. No, there's two. There's whites.
White and Asian.
And then there's Asians. If you want to split into East and then South, sure, and you got three.
It's not a coincidence that all the Fire Nation evil people are darker skinned Asians, i.e. like Indian, South Asian, etc. And all the good people
Shyamalan is South Asian himself. So I was like, how do you not see that this is crazy? Like
in my opinion, so obviously this is based off a cartoon, and in the cartoons, the only people who were clearly not white were some of the Earth Kingdom people. Like, the Earth Kingdom people were clearly supposed to be like East Asian. Yes, right? Yeah. They clearly showed them as that. And they clearly showed the Water Tribe people as being like indigenous Inuit, like Katara and Sokka, and I said so. Katara and Sokka have darker skin. Like, it's literally just what it is. But then the characters of like the Fire Nation people, Aang, whatever, obviously they're kind of ambiguous. But you have to look. Okay, Aang is raised by monks. Where do we see monks? In East Asia. So maybe make Aang an East Asian person. Yes. Now, see, what I would have been fine with is if all of the people were like diverse and then they made the Fire Nation white people. I would have been totally okay with that because it makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, colonialism, the white people are trying to do imperialism. Like, it makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have been okay with that.
I think the only person they could have made white and I would have been like, okay, that's okay, is Aang. Only because, like, especially in third season when his hair grows in, it kind of looks, you know, like a white boy's hair. Like I still don't think it would be good.
It still looked wrong.
I think it's mad, yeah.
Like in the movie, Aang was white, but it just didn't look right. It didn't look like Aang.
It was bad.
It did. What I mean? So, like,
no, but like Katara and Sokka were the worst.
Look right whatsoever.
It was like you literally didn't even try to get people that looked like them, like at all.
Not at all.
Oh my goodness!
But that's what I'm saying. So if they wanted to associate, because I think the whole point is like all these different nations, they're bound by like culture. Yeah. So if they wanted to associate different races or cultures to different nations, I would have been okay with that. But you have to understand that this is not supposed to be representative of the real world, so you can't include every single no, but this is the part where and, like, type, like, background of people. Like, the whole point of this world, like I said before, is it's an like quote unquote Asiatic world. So if the water benders are supposed to be Inuit / indigenous, and then the Earth Kingdom because it's really big, I feel like it could be like mainly East Asian, but also have a bunch of different other type of people. And then because we saw some earthbenders in the show, like I'm thinking, what's that kid's name? You know, remember that one kid's name when they went on the boat and saved his dad?
That's he
looked kind of like South American.
He did. I know what you're talking. Like I know who you're talking about.
The Earth Kingdom could be, if you want to make the Earth Kingdom diverse, like with all that is totally fine. And then the Airbenders would be like strictly like East Asian. That would be fine. And then if you want to make the Fire Nation white people, I would be okay with that. That would be the way I would divide it, in my opinion.
See, I wouldn't even do this. You know why? Because factually it doesn't make sense. Because you know how they have the southern, northern of each thing, like they have short now blah 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 blah. That's the way they should be divided by race. There should be all the South people should already be darker by just the fact that they're in the South. Like if you're gonna go by that thing, and then the northern freaking airbenders or whatever you want to call them would probably be lighter. Like that's the only logical way.
Make everyone make everyone diverse, but the fact that he's like, oh, it's super diverse, but you made all of the firebenders like
it's
South
segregation of the races.
It just
makes
doesn't
no
make sense.
It implies that only people of certain races can have certain bending powers. That's what it implies.
Yeah,
like it's like
literally
only brown people are firebenders.
Yeah, that's like the casting problem. There's also as we already said, the pronunciations of the words. Ong, Soka, I don't even know what. Even the word avatar. They said avatar. Like why?
Do you know what his excuse was? Did you know what he said?
I know exactly what his excuse was. Oh, it needs to be closer to the traditional way of spelling it. If it's a book, I don't care how you pronounce it. But you are basing it off a show. Even if the show pronounced it wrong, you're pronouncing it wrong because everyone knows what it's supposed to be pronounced in the show, and you're just making it sound weird.
No, he specifically said, Monica, that he's trying to make it sound more in the Asian pronunciation of the words.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
So, but you're not even cast Asian people. You didn't even cast
Asian people. Like that's what I'm trying to say, and it's like the fact. I don't care if the original show didn't pronounce it to the correct Asian thing because at the end of the day, that's what it is, and that's the way everyone knows how to pronounce it. So now that you're trying to change it in the movie, you look stupid. No matter what your intentions were, you look stupid. And you look extra stupid by being like, oh, well, I want to make it closer to the Asian pronunciation. Well, where are the Asian people? Show me. Where are they?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Name one Asian main character. Oh, wait, you can't. Exactly.
That one dude in the Earth Kingdom. That's it.
Oh, my goodness.
So, anyways, I'm just like, so that's another problem. The whole script just doesn't make any, like, it's just cringy. Like, I know the specific scene where he's like, he says something and like there's this super close up and he's like, oh, Ong, blah blah blah, and he's like, I have to tell you something. What is it, Ong? I don't know I don't know. The script is just terrible. Like the acting is terrible, except for Dev Patel. You did your best.
Yeah.
But the acting is really bad. Like again, I hate shitting on kid actors, but these kid actors were trash. And they ruined the characters. Like Sokka and Iroh were supposed to be the comedic relief, like the comic.
There was no comedic relief in this movie at all.
It seems like it was like an afterthought. Like halfway through the movie, they're like, "Oh shoot, we need to make Sokka funny. Let's make him say like one funny thing that was not even funny." And Iroh was not funny at all. Like that was the whole point. Was just he was supposed to be fun. Like that's the problem is they tried to make it super serious, but then it's like they were like, actually, well, let's throw in a little funny things. Like either make it serious or don't. Like. Pick a side. You can't just throw in sprinkles of funniness thinking it's gonna stick because it's not gonna stick. It's just gonna look stupid when you're trying to make this super serious movie and then be like, oh no, let's make Sokka make a joke. He's supposed to be the funny one.
I know.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't make sense too because it's like literally all action movie nowadays are partly comedies. Like that's the very
you gotta add a little
popular
comic relief, and it's like it just doesn't work when you're trying to make this super serious. Like Aang also supposed to be the comedic relief.
He's supposed to be the joyful, like exciting
jokester.
Katara is supposed to be like the mood killer. No offense to her.
Exactly. He's supposed to be like the not serious kid who's just trying to have fun. Like he goes and rides the elephant koi, like that kind of thing. Nope.
And that would make sense why he would not want to be the Avatar because he's like, bruh, I'm 12. I don't want to be trying to save the world.
It's too much responsibility. Like I should have fun. Nope.
Yeah.
He does not.
Okay. A big thing I didn't like, which I've already alluded to throughout this thing, is how they treated bending like it was magic.
Yeah.
Monica, they even implied that fire bending cannot be done unless fire is around. Did you see that when Iroh was like firebending because he was mad that General Zhao killed the spirit? They were like, "Oh my gosh, he's bending from his hands."
Huh? Like,
that's how bending works. That's how firebending.
But I know. I think in the original show, water bending, like water, unless you're like super skilled and can make water out of the air or whatever, like that's what they implied. Is like you need special like training skills to be able to bend out of nowhere. Yeah, and like fire seems like the easiest one to me.
Yeah, to like just do on its own. Yeah. Same with
also,
air.
he's a commander.
He's
like,
all around.
He's a general. Like, he should know how to firebend from his hands, like, by itself.
It's really weird that they were like, I think literally in another part of the movie, they were like, oh, we think we've discovered ways to be able to bend fire without fire around. So I'm like, so you're telling me these guys have to come smash some rocks together every time they want to firebend?
Like, that's what I get. Like, they're ready to fight, and then they go, hold on. They gotta pull out their matchsticks, like, hold on, it's not starting yet. And, okay, I got it. Like, you know what I mean? Every time they want to fight, they have to pull out matches.
That literally makes firebending completely stupid, then. It makes it the worst bending ever at that point.
And that's the whole point, is that the firebenders are scary because they can just make fire from their hands. That's the whole point.
Like, I feel like the show, at least to me, some people may disagree with this, but I think the show did a really good job of giving each bending its own like perks. Yeah, and its personality. Like, water is amazing because it's able to do the most things. Like, you're able to
it's like heal,
blood bend,
but it's hard to
you're
like
gonna
kill
be,
someone.
Yeah. But the worst part is that you need water around. Like, you can't just and like you said, if you want to do it with like less obvious means of water, you have to really master that, right?
Yeah, because so they're like water droplets in the air and stuff.
So like you're able to do a lot with water, but it's like harder. So they're like it's less accessible. With Earth, they're like Earth is really accessible.
Everywhere, yeah.
It's everywhere, and it's a really strong and powerful thing. However, like, you know, you are limited by just like if Earth is not around, like how they do that, right?
Yeah, and Earth what you can do, make rocks like that.
And you can metal bend if you're really good. So they did a good job with that. Air has its advantage because air, you could think like, oh, air's lame. Like, what are you gonna do with air? But it's like, bro, air is everywhere. So like, you have that. You
never run out. It's just always there.
So you're able to do that. Yes, and same with fire. Like, air and fire to me are the two that they're the most accessible. Like, you can do it no matter what. But the other two were less, but that was good because you didn't want any of the bending to be overpowered. You wanted it to be like even.
In the movie, I feel like there was just not enough earth bending. Like, where were the earth benders?
That's
I didn't
true.
see them. They were there for like 2 seconds and they got the shittiest fight scene, and that's it. Like, that's the problem. Is like they didn't take the time to at least show each bending in its like form and all that. I feel like I barely saw any fire bending except for that one guy who did the super twisty karate kick thing in the water tribe, and the fire whatever flew around the air, and that's it. Like, and
there's literally a scene where Aang and Zuko are fighting each other like with like fists, and I was like, since when is Aang a fighter? Like, he's not like an actual martial artist.
When did you learn how to fight? Where?
Like, bruh, it's the reason he uses air. And Aang was actually really not confrontational. Like, he would do a lot of like tiptoeing and like
his
dodging and
is,
stuff.
Like, he doesn't like to hurt people.
Yes,
he just ruined. And another thing I was gonna say is the character development in general
is also non-existent.
It's important to note this movie is only about an hour and a half. Why? You're talking about a whole season of a show, and you chose to make a movie only an hour and a half. It should have
been 2 hours.
Movies are able, like, you can make a 2.5 hour movie. No one's gonna complain. Yeah, you could, like, that's easily an hour of extra stuff you could have added in there. But no, he wanted to make it 90 minutes. Like, for what reason? For what reason?
And it's like, it's not even like 20 in the episodes. Hour and a half they used it right. They didn't even use it.
That's the thing. And in the hour and a half, there were moments where nothing was happening. And I'm like, what's the point?
No, you're so right. I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize it's only an hour and a half. Movie. You're right.
It's literally a short movie for what? For what? It's a 20 episode season that you're trying to put in a movie, and you choose to only make it an hour and a half. Why?
Disney movies are longer than that now. Are you kidding? Like, I'm pretty sure Tangled is an hour and 15 movie.
Big budget adaptation with like special effects, fighting, whatever. Make your movie 2 hours at least. Like, come on.
I didn't do too much research about this, but like, how did he get the rights? Like, I'm just confused how this happened. Like, that's my... Like, who gave him... all of this jurisdiction?
Who gave him the right in all the senses possible? Like, who gave him the
where
rights
were
to
Michael
the movie,
and
who gave him
Dante?
the right to do this? Who on his
goodness.
team allowed him to put this movie out? I just want to know. Like, if I worked on this movie, like if I was like a script, like a writer or a producer or whatever, I would be ashamed of myself. You know what I mean? Like, I would not put this on my resume.
I would quit. I would let them not put my movie in the credits. I'd be like, please don't.
I'd be like, you know what? Just don't put my name in the credits. It's fine. Like, just don't worry about it. You know?
No, but imagine if you didn't, because you know how you don't really know how the movie ends until they actually cut it. Like, you don't see half of the stuff. Could you imagine you being like, okay, I filmed all these scenes. Like, you think it's gonna be good, and then you watch it and you're like, oh. Like, this is the project.
The people I feel the most bad for are like the CGI effect people.
Yes,
because they obviously just do the scenes with the CGI effects, so they're trying to make it look and the CGI effects weren't like terrible.
No, they're not.
So I was like, okay, like it's not too bad. So they're
the water ones are decent.
They're doing their best, making it look good. And then imagine going to watch that movie after. I mean, like, you made me animate the shittiest movie in existence. I just feel so like the camera people. Also, I feel kind of bad for them because they're just trying to do their job, but Shyamalan's like, no, closer. Okay, yeah, right in their face, and then they have to watch as they deliver the worst
it's not their fault,
acting of their life. Like, I just feel so bad for them.
And I especially like you said, the CGI guys, this could have been a breakthrough movie for them. Like, as in like, because this is like one of the, at least at the time that this was, because it was released a long time ago, like
2010, I think.
2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Not a lot of good CGI was around necessarily. Like, it wasn't a big like thing. People weren't like. I think they were starting to get into it.
This is the year after the movie Avatar was released.
Oh, wow!
So
so
the
bad.
effects were there. The effects
that's so bad.
Existed. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. So. Okay, I take everything I said back. Sorry to this man. Yeah, I cannot.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh my goodness.
Think like in general, my only sentiment that I can say is that it makes sense as to why the creators of the original show literally they are like, we pretend that movie doesn't exist.
Yes, because they weren't involved. To be fair, they were not involved at all.
They said we were not involved. We were not asked to be involved. We were not like stupid. Nothing was given our like approval. Nothing like that. And when I remember the actor that played Zuko in the original show. Someone asked him, oh, have you seen the movie? And he's like, no, the creators of the original show told me not to watch it.
Yeah.
So like,
no, I know him, Dante.
They're literally like, we pretend that movie does not exist.
He's I'm just so, I hate this. And this is a second example of, I hate with a passion when people adapt things, like they get the rights for it, and then throw away the author or the original person, like they're garbage.
I hate it too. Like, if any adaptation's happening and the original creator, author, whatever is not on the producing team, I don't want it.
Yes.
Keep it. Like, you know what I mean?
Because it's like,
why?
And I'm talking like if you're actually going to make it about that. Like, it's different when you're like, oh, can I have the rights because the concept is a little... is a little too... Like, for example, Mean Girls, the movie, like, they didn't need to have What's-Her-Face on it.
Oh, yeah. It's like a
loosely based.
Not really, But if you're trying to make a direct adaptation, and this goes for any, like, adaptation book, show, anything... You need the original creators, or else you're just setting yourself up for failure. And that's
Percy
why
Jackson... They did the same thing.
That's what I was literally about to say. Literally, when you don't get the writer's approval, that's when your thing goes to shit because it's not going to be good. It's really not. Because... Like, say what you want about like the Hunger Games movies or even the Twilight movies and stuff like that, but you can tell that the writer was involved because it makes sense. Like
Harry Potter,
you can see how they took. It's obviously not the exact same, but they still made it a cohesive story.
Yes.
Because the writer obviously was there to help you make changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling was so heavily involved, she almost didn't have Emma Watson in the movie because she thought Emma Watson was too cute to play Hermione. Like, legit. Like
you know, that's what I'm saying, is that if the writer is not gonna be involved, why would you do this? Why?
I know.
You know?
I know. Okay, we gotta get into our quick little game / question, and then we'll grade this movie, which will be short, guys, because, you know, come on.
I think it's kind of obvious.
Yes. So, we have decided to do a scene take. I think that's what I'm going to call it. I think it's kind of cute. This is where we take out a scene in this movie. We pick a scene to take out. We pick one scene we would change or like rearrange, and one scene we would add in order to try and salvage this movie, you know, even though it's like impossible, but we'll try our best.
Yeah.
So do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You can go first for the scene you would take out, and then I'll do
the
scene that I would take out.
Okay, so the scene I would take out, oh my goodness, this is actually hard because there's so many.
I wrote down I would take the whole movie out if I could.
Oh, exactly. But specifically, the weakest scene to me was the scene where they were at the earthbending place and they were literally just sitting on Earth and deciding not to do anything about it.
That was mine too.
Yes.
The entire Earth Kingdom scene.
Yes, the entire Earth Kingdom part. Like, it didn't even make sense, like you said. Like, we didn't even know why they were there. They didn't explain that, where they were going, why they had ended up there. It was so out of place. They performed it terribly. It was trash on trash on trash. Like, I literally
was going to say, it was so horrendous that I would rather have just not seen it. Like, I wish it was just not in there. Even though it's the only time we really get to see the Earthbenders. Like, the fact that I had to be subject to that terrible part of the movie is like, I would rather not have watched it. Like, I really just burst out laughing during that fight scene because I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Another contender was the stupid scene where they put the rock and stuff in front of him. I hated that because I was like, stop. It's not magic. I hate you guys. Oh my gosh. So that's a scene I would take out. We both had the same one, right? Me, so
So you can go with your scene you change.
Scene I would change. So specifically, it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint the scene like I would take, but just like I'll explain the part I would change is at the beginning, the fact that Katara and Aang had zero bond, like I didn't see them interact at all, was trash. I would change the whole part where he was explaining why he ran away into more of a scene of him just talking about like himself. Like, I don't know what they would be doing, even if it was like them having fun doing something stupid. Like, I just needed them to establish a bond so that I could actually feel the gravity when she's like, we have a responsibility to this boy. Because when she said that, I literally felt like I feel like everyone has a responsibility to human beings in general, but I still felt like I was like, no, you really don't need to go after him.
You really don't.
No. Like, this little boy, you owe this little boy absolutely nothing. Low key, high key. Okay? So I would have changed that to at least establish a relationship between Katara and Aang, because I feel like that's one of the biggest, most poignant relationships in the series. Or whatever. Yeah.
So the scene I would change is actually the scene on the boat with the little test whatever thing.
Oh yeah.
Because like that scene, the whole point is that he's supposed to be captive. So like even the lead, like the setup for the scene should have been different, where it's like he's getting captive because they know he's the Avatar. Right?
So
there should have been higher
stakes,
bro. Yeah, there should have been higher stakes with him on the boat. A. B. The test. Why? That should not have been a thing. They should already have known that he was the Avatar because obviously he's the Avatar. And his escape should have been like the show where Katara makes the whole iceberg fall into the boat. That's the whole point. You know what I mean? Like, that whole part was supposed to be different in every aspect possible.
No, he actually in the show he ends up going into Avatar state too, because he has to at some point, because so he's the one who makes the
I think he like falls into the water or something.
He falls into the water and then he doesn't see Avatar. He makes the thing fall and Katara freezes a bunch of the people. That's what happens specifically.
Yeah. So anyways, that scene should have been way more exciting than it was.
Yes. And I agree with you. Higher stakes. Like, I literally didn't feel like he was in danger. The whole point is that it's higher stakes and then they go and rescue him. Not he just jumps out of there and be like, okay, bye, and then leaves. Like, that's not, no.
Anyway, so yeah. Okay, trash. So scene that you would add.
Scene that I would add. Okay. This is like, again, this movie's trash, so there's not too much.
Yeah, it's hard to do this with a really bad movie, but.
I know. So I feel like something I would add would be just like, this is just my personal thing. I would have added more scenes with Yue and Sokka, just because I feel like her ultimate sacrifice at the end should have been something. Like, it should have been a tearjerker. Like, that's how I feel. Like, this girl gives her life. First of all, I hate that she doesn't have her parents, because I feel like adds stakes. Like, their parents are like, we're not about to lose our only child. Like, that's how they felt. Like, they were like, no. And Sokka felt like a bigger weight because he's like, yo, I was supposed to protect her. Like, they literally just skipped to that, and they were like, oh, they're really good friends. Like, Katara tells us that. And I'm like, okay, I believe that not. So I feel like they should have I would have added a scene with them just doing, again, that doesn't really fix the movie at all, but like,
yeah, no, nothing get really salvaged.
Yeah, but at least it would have made her death, you know, more impactful if we like knew more about her in general.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. So yeah, I was gonna say I would add just, I don't know if this is adding a scene, but like adding more to the beginning part where they first meet Aang. I think it's absolutely horrendous that they literally just met him. He didn't even wake up. They just cut straight to him being at the village.
Yeah.
Why? Where is the in between? Where's the lead up? Where's them meeting? Like the whole introduction. Like I would add an introduction scene.
Yes.
Like, because that's the whole thing. That's the funny part in the show where everyone loves it, where he's like, I'm Aang, like whatever. And he's like, and this is Appa, and then they're introducing themselves, and that's like, just let me feel something, please.
Exactly. You would have given them personality.
Like I remember I was watching it, and I didn't know this, they cut that scene out in the movie, so I was literally watching it, and then they're like, oh, he's asleep, like whatever, let's bring him back to the village. And then they're back at the village and he's awake, and I'm like, what happened? Where's the introduction? Where did it go? I was so confused. So give me that, please, at least something. It's not going to salvage anything, but at least establish their personalities from the beginning.
Yes, because if you want to make Aang a serious character, at least establish that with your introduction scene, so I can know that this is like a serious,
because they kind of just cut to the village as if I'm supposed to know what any of this is, like what's happening.
And also, they made it a serious movie, but then it's not dark enough for it to be a serious thing. Like, if they wanted it to be serious, no offense, they would have shown more violence. Like that's just a fact. Like, if you're gonna make it
death.
Yes, like show me Katara's mom getting taken away.
Give Zuko a bad scar.
You know like an ugly one.
Don't make his face just like a little pink. Like, no,
bruh. Like that was like a Jojo Rabbit scar, like to make fun of. Like, like in Jojo Rabbit, they kept making fun of like he's so ugly, and then everyone's like, it's literally not a big deal. Like,
no,
it's hilarious. They really. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so.
Great.
We are going to actually one more question. No? This is fast.
Okay.
Obviously, this is just an Avatar question that you would ask anyone. What bending power would you want? Pretty easy.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Easy. I know it's hard.
Probably
I think
air.
For me,
or
air for you.
Because
it's cool.
I'll tell you why. Because I feel like, I don't know why they never really addressed this in the show or anything like that, but I feel like with air, you can technically, if you wanted to, bend air or earth and water. Because you just put air underneath it and move it. You know what I mean?
They did do that in the show. He put like rocks inside like a tornado thing.
Because think about it. If you have a bunch of rocks on the floor, if you have a bunch of rocks on the floor and you can bend air, you just make a wind current pick them up. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like you could bend technically water and earth too. So with air, and I want to be able to fly.
Heavy,
so and I want to be able to fly. So yeah,
I think I would be an earthbender. I just like the strength that comes with it. Yeah. I think it's pretty dope.
I think of Toph. I love her.
Yeah, she's like my favorite. I just think it's awesome. Like, that's it. It just looks really cool. I have no other explanation.
The thing I love about earthbending is like how you can feel things like through the floor. Like, because like the thing that Toph does, where she can see because of her earthbending. I think that's so cool.
It's amazing, and I feel like you can really change the situation. Like, if we are going through a tunnel, I could just be like, pop, 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 let's go, baby. Like, I feel like that would be awesome. But
second choice, I feel like.
All of them would be awesome. Am I lying? Or like all of them? I would not be upset by any of them.
I feel like firebending is kind of useless unless you're trying to kill people.
Really? Oh, like you're saying like it's not...
Like, there's no practical use for it. You want to light a fire.
I guess I agree with you in modern times. In modern times, it's not. I think back then it is.
Oh, yeah. But I'm thinking modern times, I feel like firebending is kind of useless.
You're right.
I think you could do a lot of
things. The only thing I think of where I thought, because I used to think firebending sucked, because, you know, obviously in the first season, they don't really show us any good, real, like, things.
Good firebending,
but I started liking it more when Zuko
started getting better.
Zuko started getting better. Remember that scene where he was in a village and he went on a date with a girl? And he said, "Close your eyes," and like he lit up the entire square with like fire. I just thought it was so cute. So I don't know. I think everything is. I feel like
it's like you can do cool things with it, but I feel like realistically speaking, there's not really much use for it.
No, it is. It's like nowadays it's completely not like because back then it's like fire was important. Like if you wanted to see light, you know, or like cook your food and stuff, but.
Power your boats, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's like, nah, it's dumb. But yeah. All right. Okay. So our grade, that's it. And then we're out. Yeah, I
Like, I don't know what else to give it. F.
Yes, it's an F.
Like, it was like, honestly, it was like watching a train wreck where it's like you just can't look away. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I just want to see how bad this is gonna get.
Can I give it an F-? Because the worst part to me is I always give more kudos or props to movies that are original and that tried something. You know?
But when they took something that was already in existence and made it worse.
When you have the base material already there and you mess up horrifically, like, you should at least get a C+ just for having it be based off of something amazing. Like, so
if
how
you
do
really
you manage?
tried to make it like the original,
right? Like, if you did everything exactly by the original, which wouldn't work because obviously movies to book is totally different. But even if you did exactly everything, you should still get a C+. Minimum.
I mean, I think the issue is that, like, it's a show, so it's like everything has already been set up. It's hard to. It's literally like taking a show and being like, okay, cut out all these things. Like, if it's a book, it's one thing, but when it's already a show and I can already go and watch the show, you already were doomed from the get-go. I feel like, unless, like I said, unless the writers themselves wanted to make a adaptation, they would have to like, change a couple things. But I feel like only they can change the story. You know what I mean? You can't change the story; it's already there.
Oh my gosh. And they like change it in stupid ways that even add anything. It's so dumb. Yeah,
exactly. It should have been like inspired by and not like meant to be like an adaptation. It should have been
please, I wish this movie never existed, but
I'm gonna be like the directors and just pretend like I never watched
it. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. What are you gonna do after this?
Sorry, what are you gonna do after this? You're gonna follow us on Instagram, you're gonna subscribe, you're gonna give us a good rating. Yes. All that good stuff.
Yeah. All that jazz. We know you got time, so do it. What are you doing?
We all got time. Don't lie.
Exactly. So, thank you for joining us.
And we'll catch you next week for... what are we doing next week?
Okay, so we did a roasting movie. Isn't our favorite movies ever? I feel like that's what it is.
I think it is. I think next week we're going to be discussing... this is not going to be like a ranking like our animated movies episode. No. This is just going to be a general discussion of some of our favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. And I think it'll be really good because that's less homework for us, I think.
Yeah, because I've definitely already watched them a million times, so.
Yeah, so, and I'm sure, like, I know the movies you're talking about anyways, so I don't think we need to watch each other's. So
we're just going to have a little general discussion of what we think are our favorite movies of all time.
We're going to be loving up on movies instead next week.
Just basically just giving everyone the praise they deserve.
Yes, exactly. All right, thanks for listening. Bye.